What's good, guys? Welcome back to Normal Extra Smart Africans. Again, my name is Adanzi. I'm here with, the boys are here. J.O. Henny,
What's up?
A, and then our only Mike in the building. Shout out to everybody who's listening and subscribed to us. Like, you guys are amazing. Everybody, all of our audio listeners, love y'all. You guys who turn into YouTube because you want to see our cute faces and all of that. Appreciate that too. A lot more stuff coming out. Glad to be here with the episode, and we're right back in with it. How you been, bro?
Chilling.
Chilling.
I think it's starting to get towards like the end of the semester, so it's like there's a lot of stuff going on. It's like you got here fast. It's like a lot of stuff you thought you had more time to do. Kind of like it's like okay, deadlines are right there. So it's like it's been kind of stressful, but as you chip away at it, it starts getting better. But I'm okay with it.
I feel that because it seems like we have enough time, but I'm looking at the schedule right now, and we literally have less than a month.
2-3 weeks.
Yeah, it's like 2 weeks left,
So
and then guys are about to be out. But how about you, Mike? How you feeling?
Same as usual, man. Try to get it done.
Mike is like one of the most chill people that I know, but also one of the most like serious at the same time. Like we can have like an amazing, deep, intellectual, great conversation, and we can go out and just look at bees for like an hour. Like
he's serious, but not on purpose though.
Yeah, I think it's just like a natural seriousness, like a gift, kind of flowing in there. But like, I'd like to start off with you guys. Once again, what was your one win of the day? Kind of going around. I could start. I was going through. So today, like, I don't know if you guys know, but in our program, like, we read articles all the time. I didn't like to read articles, but I really found out like if you read articles, the stuff you like is like you find it like a comic that you really enjoy and you read that. So I ended up reading a lot of articles based on the stuff that I do, but I found out that I have like 50, 60 articles just packed in my bag and just all scattered. So like I know what I'm reading, but it's not like, oh, that's a really cool article. Where did you get that from? And then as they're asking that, like my mind is just like sifting through. So today I was able to categorize all my articles into like 5 or 6 categories based on different parts of my research, like on the device, on this part. And it felt nerdy, but nerds rule the world, so I don't care. And I enjoyed it. And I was able to like get into like different like folders. I had like 5 folders with different like articles done. And it's like if anybody asks me about anyone, I can pull it out 3 seconds. I haven't like tagged it, so I felt good about that. It was like a weird thing to do like in the lab, but that was part of my win of the day.
Cool. Today, I don't know, man. The week just started. I feel like I don't have any wins, but I did go to the library.
Hey.
That's my win. I went to the library, man.
Okay. Shout out.
Like I can't work at home because I feel like once it starts like getting towards like 7 o'clock, my body's like, this is the place where you sleep, and then it's like
rest zone.
Yeah, it's like try to switch his modes. Because I tried that yesterday and like on Sunday, and I did pretty well for like most of the day, and then once it started hitting like 5 o'clock, I think it was just like my body was like, this is not
5 o'clock is not the 5 o'clock you used to be.
Oh right, so it's 6 o'clock now. Damn, that's crazy. So it's like my body was like, yeah, this is not where you work. You don't want to work for real. You don't want to work for real. So, but I did make my way to the library. And I was fairly productive. So
yeah,
that's my win.
Appreciate that. Yeah, and also like just literally like piggyback on a little bit of your 5 o'clock. Like, is it annoying now when it's like literally 5:20? It's dark outside. Like, and this is just coming from like last month by 7 o'clock it's just kind of getting dark. Like, and I was like 2 hours early and it's just like pitch. It's like my whole time clock is just like messed up.
Yeah, but like it's weird.
Yeah,
I feel like everything about winter just seems like suspicious. Like.
Like sus. It's like,
I don't like winter.
What's going on? Like, where the snow at? But what about you, bro?
Yeah, I made some progress. I gotta write my proposal.
Okay.
So I gotta give that seminar pretty soon. So I've been focusing on that, trying to make it iron clear, my research goals and all that. So it feels pretty focusing, being able to explicitly write it out. So yeah, focusing on that. And how to get some practice on that.
Yeah, when you wrote your review paper, did you have to present it?
Yeah, it's the prelim. We should probably do an episode on that.
Right. So hold on.
Yeah.
So prelim, we have
Prelim
to.
was wild. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I'm supposed to do it by myself.
A prelim?
Yeah, I mean, I have my review paper,
Yeah, you definitely have to.
You have to
You're
do
gonna have to
feedback.
present to your committee for like 30 minutes, and then they're gonna have like 15-minute question, 30 to 45 minutes, and then
Yo.
yeah.
Okay.
You got it.
I gotta do that by end of semester.
I mean, you only have.
So my committee, I have to have a committee?
Yeah, bro.
Really? Dude, no one's telling me this.
It's wild, you know.
Because I just, from my understanding, I was just supposed to submit a paper, and then once the proposal comes, then it's like, because I know somebody who presented and then fixed their paper for later. So I could have, because it's all right. I'll talk to my advisor. It's cool. He's been MIA, but like,
and like the thing is, like, you don't necessarily have to have a paper to present them for like your prelim. You just have to have like the concept idea, like stuff you've done, and you've been doing research, right? As long as then it goes along with your research objective.
just literary review. That's about it.
Okay, but yeah, but I mean, it's still something along the way.
Okay,
on that.
that's cool.
Yeah,
That's cool, man.
Let's do progress. Let's progress.
All right, let's do it.
Bro, that feeling where you know you have something to do like 3 weeks.
Yo,
like,
it's
well,
all right, bro.
you got it, though.
I just go incognito for like 3 weeks, and I'm good.
Hey, beast mode. Sorry, I'm about to say Henny on block.
Yeah, let's do it.
But what's our top topic today, though? What do we get?
You wrote it.
We did. We got. I mean, crazy part
I
was
see Mike
that
knows.
this was interesting because it was inspired by our boy Mike, who I want to put you on the spot. You know, I apologize for stuff, but you know, I'm kind of glad that Mike is kind of good on camera. You know, bro is like taking to the shine. You know, and like I liked it. You know, I feel like everyone's like, yo, we love the hair. You know, want to see him a little bit more. You know, and we had to appease the fans. So like he was nice to oblige to that. You know, I'm glad to have Mike on our
He said he wasn't going on camera until he got retweeted.
Exactly. You know, now the reach is all fresh. You know. You know, we're gonna get into that.
You call it a bird's nest?
Man, nah, man. These braids is 3 weeks old. What you said?
It don't look like that though, you know. So that means that whoever like did it must have like done it really well. The maintenance must have
Precision. They use the ruler, right?
For what, the part?
Yeah.
Nah, man. They go off muscle memory, intuition, and ancestors, man.
muscle memory, intuition, and ancestors combination. Yeah. No, it's just fun. We're gonna have a whole episode on just like different like hairstyles and how we're gonna incorporate that into the main part of the episode. But we're gonna of like science and music, which I think is cool. The collaborative team like look into that. And one of the first things in that, it's like, what does it take to have like a productive collaboration in these fields? It's like, what do you guys think it takes to have like close collaboration when it comes to science and when it comes to music?
Well, so far, I can't really speak on it because I do have collaborations, but they like, as far as getting the collaboration, they were just kind of like, I think pretty much my advisor was pretty much like, hey, these guys are looking for us on this project. Do you want to do this? I'm like, yeah, sure. So, but I know some people who've gotten like collaborations on their own just from like, I know you have a collaboration just from talking to another professor or something, right? Mm-hmm. So how'd you go from not only talking to a person, but also setting up with your professor, right? You just ran by your professor and then he kind of did the politics, or like you had to do that?
I did the politics on this one. So I had a particular research question in mind, and doing literature review, try to find out what techniques, which methods kind of best met the experimental needs I had.
Right.
And then, we're in North Carolina, so I had to localize that to North Carolina because I wanted to be able to be in physical contact. So, yeah. Found a researcher over at Duke and sent the email. In the email, I had to be clear that I had done my due diligence to read some of their scientific works.
Yeah.
To let them know that I'm on game with what they're doing, and then lay out how their experimental method and their techniques they develop in their lab can complement the stuff we do here.
So they know that you have like a background in it. Like,
no, have a background in it. Yeah, exactly. Know a background in it and know that there's a common interest. For instance, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. And then from that, got interested, Zoom call, followed up with that. And that's on that Zoom call, though, is when I told my advisor I found someone who I thought would be a good collaboration. And from there, I got the green light.
Right.
kind of make it.
It's like quantum something. No, it's not quantum. Quantum dots, right?
No, it's not quantum dots, but I mean, it's single particle tracking.
Confidential information.
Oh right, my bad.
It's not. I'm kidding. I have no idea what it is. I mean, it's still in the works. Still in the works. But right? Is it still in the works?
Yeah.
Right.
Matter of fact, we just was conversing last week. Looks like we're about to get some experiments off the ground.
Okay.
By month's end, so pretty excited about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that, and like it's weird. I think that also like some collaborations can come from just like friends, just like knowing like somebody and being someone's friend and stuff like that. And I think that's literally how like we had our first collaboration with that stuff. Like, and this is the way of science. And I had an idea, and I was trying to find someone to do this idea for like months, and I talked to you about it, and we just have like and you're like, yo, I mean, we do that in our lab, and I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. And literally like 2 weeks later, something I was trying to do for six months, in 2 weeks I got to do it with my friend, and we're literally working on another project right now, which is kind of awesome. And it's wild that there's a way to like combine like all of those ways of collabing. Because, for example, it tying in like the science and the music part. When we got to collab on our song, they already had the song. I had no idea what was going on with it, and they just like, hey, there's this kind of song that we're working on. Like, everybody has done their part. Like, it's a song with 5 people. Like, everybody has done their part. They already finished. Like, they killed it. Just need you to do like one thing right here. And I was like, okay, cool. And I got the call, got the idea. I was like, this song is fire. I literally like 3 hours. I was like, yo, this is a song back. Let's go to the studio. In a week, we recorded the whole thing. And that was like a collaboration. It just came out the works. From that. So I think that it has to be pursued either from one side, if it's student like led that way, or it can be like the collaboration of like.
I also feel like it's not gonna be something you look for too. I think you're just gonna be running along. Honestly, no, it's like I feel like collaborations come from 2 things. Either like, again, I remember stating like it comes from like talking to people, figure out like, sometimes somebody might be talking, it's like not on some woe is me type stuff, but like, yo, I can't figure this out. And you're just sitting there like, yo, I know exactly what you're talking about. I could do that. And also, like collaborations come from like, hey, I have a problem, and deliberately seeking out who can kind of like solve this problem. Exactly. So I think I feel like those are 2 of the main things like collaborations come from. I feel like if a collaboration is kind of like, I guess intentional, I feel like there's got to be some purpose with versus just like, all right, well, we just want collaboration. Like,
exactly.
It's like, all right, somebody has some equipment you don't have, or like, I don't know, collaboration is solution oriented.
It has to be, because people can always kind of talk, right? Like, when even example collaboration, like you're like, hey, we can do people together. Let's
build.
Let's just build. Yeah, bro. Let's build, bro. Okay, bro, I got you, bro. And then like that's like. The next time you see them, like 2 weeks later, hey man, I know I'm so busy. It's okay, bro. Like, but let's catch up. Yeah, we need to work together. Yeah, let's work together. Like, okay, bro. And some people do that like 5-6 times, compared to like, okay, you want to work together. Okay, what time are you free to work together for this? Like, I'm free at this particular time. Okay, do you have an idea now? Then if you're more intentional, like leading with the question, then it shows this person, okay, this person actually wants to collab with me. Like, there's actually an intent behind that. There's an action behind that, because I feel like you need to follow that. You have an idea, then you kind of go through the idea, and there has to be some actions to follow the words. The balancing of both. And I think that's one thing that leads to collaboration. Because if you feel like, I'm like, you don't collab with somebody who you feel, we're gonna kind of get to that, a little bit down. Kind of collaborate with somebody who you feel like is like hard to collaborate with. But most of the time, if both sides are willing, it's easier to kind of get into that kind of realm of collaboration of working.
Yeah, I think to answer the question as far as one of the main things that make it work, I think you gotta have a certain amount of humility. Honestly, you gotta be willing to admit you got some shortcomings that you ain't gonna be able to do, and that someone else just got the better tool set for it.
Exactly. And which is something that we talked about in like the last pod, talking about like, am I going to decide to spend 6 weeks trying to learn this thing, or know somebody who can do it in 2 days? Have to like work along with them, like being efficient, and effective. That's one of the things that like I think collaborations work a lot. And then, what are some common elements that you guys think between science and music when it comes to collaborations? And then, what are some differences?
Oh well, I feel like not just music, but just being creative in general.
Yeah, great creativeness. Yeah.
Bro, you gotta outsource some stuff. Like, for instance, I remember. I'll probably make a video about it later, but like, I remember. You remember when we first like made the song, and then we were like, okay, now we need a music video, right?
Sunset Boulevard, you know.
Yeah, I was trying to write that script myself, and I think it was at some point I was like, yo, based on my school schedule and just all the other stuff after the song, like I cannot do this, but I'm still gonna try to do it. It's just gonna be like I'll probably finish writing the script one time in like June.
Like later, yeah.
And then I remember just hitting up Griffin. He's like, told him my idea. He's like, yo, he's down with it. He wrote this script in like 2 days, and I was just thinking like, yo, like bro, there's people who are like better at stuff than you.
That would be, yeah, like so.
Just like way better at stuff than you, like astronomically better. So you just like, I was just like, dang, I could focus on stuff I'm good at. So that was like yeah. For instance, like I know I was watching this YouTube video, and they're like, yeah, for the first 10 videos you should edit it yourself, but after that, find an editor. Like it's just gonna be way easier. Like if you want to keep pumping out like videos, and then you're just gonna get the returns back. So it's like, I think it's almost like kind of like that time is money thing, where it's like, okay, well, if I outsource this, there might be a upfront cost, right?
Yeah.
Like
Oh, I like that you
like an upfront cost, but the returns in the it's almost like
long term it's gonna be different.
Yeah. So it's like, and I feel like in research the upfront cost is maybe like, all right, well, not only like politics, but like say if like for instance like intellectual property. I mean, you're gonna have to share the intellectual property, right? Or like figure out something like say if you guys make a device or something like that, share the intellectual property. But in the long term, say if you do like file a patent for it, the product is done. Yeah. And then you get those returns as it, versus if you just kind of like did it yourself.
Bro, it's wild. Like you're saying that now, and you kind of mentioned cash because like I was reading a book this week that's Cash Flow Quadrant by Kiyosaki, the guy who did Rich Dad Poor Dad, and he was talking about being in the 4 quadrants of like the employee, like small business, big corporation, and like the investment quadrant. And a lot of the characteristics around like the small business going on were like, that's great ideas, but like, we have the idea off the ground, we're gonna have this thing, this is my idea, it's great, and they have the store, and then they also like manage like the money of the store, and like they take care of the books, and they do the accounting, and like they're the ones that do the designing for the floor of the store, and like they are the cash for the first part, have to make sure like inventory is in, and then pay for the employees, but then they also have to be on the ground, and if they're making food, they are probably the chef also, right? Making sure the menu is good, and tasting the menu, and trying new menus, and also serving the people the food, and also being able to man the door and like take care of security. So it's like they are doing all this time, which is great. And initially in the first 2-3 months, and it's wild, but it's like that's one of the reasons why like 80% of small businesses close down in the first 5 years, and then 80% of that close down 5 years after that, because it's like they're not able to sustain that one person or 2 people or 3 people. It's like the ability to have other people who are great at these things, diversify, and like you handle that, you handle the finance, you handle the money, you handle the return of the door. Like, I'm just gonna handle like this one thing. If you're in the kitchen, just cook. Being able to like diversify those parts, and I think those are effective things. And it's the same thing when it comes to music too. Like when we have our songs, like we have times where we're just gonna be okay. I'm gonna sing, and I'm learning, to produce, to work on like Logic Pro to get a lot of stuff up. But when we had like the album, we had the main theme, we had somebody who was the engineer, who was at the door, who was in there doing stuff. We had somebody who was like the videographer. I can take videos on my phone, but somebody was the videographer taking care of that. Somebody was in the background like mixing the songs for us. Somebody was doing like makeup, and someone was doing like the scenes for us, so that we could focus on our art and get things done. And also with all those people kind of working together, it turns out great, because if I have 3-4 people on a project, right, and then we all like the project comes out, they want to promote it, right? They want to sell out to other people, like they want to get, and I want to sell out too. So it's like we're multiple of us, right, working together for a common goal. It's a short amount of time,
but then
right?
you also have to split
the profit. Yeah, the credit, which
So it's
I
like-
don't mind. The credit, you know,
I
because
put it on my head.
if somebody's good at what they're doing and they did something with me, it's like we're outside, you know, like same thing, like what if if we're on a paper together, like the main idea is, okay, I'm writing the paper and you did something on the paper, and if it was contributing in some kind of way positively to my outcome on the paper, or 20%, I'm just like, I'm going to put your name on the paper with it. Because it may not be the first or third live something, but your name's on the paper. That's the paper that's on with it. And there's nothing wrong with giving people credit as long as they do the work and it's actually due to that, you know. I think that's one of the good things that come out of collaborations too, because you can get a lot of, you know, credit, you know, along with work that you might not have to like fully go through. Like I the crazy part, I have a friend who was a scientist, right? Finished from college, and right now he's playing the guitar in France. He's an amazing, you know, artist, Sir Bastion, and he ended up like playing like background vocals on one of the Grammy songs. I think it was "Wake Me Up," the song on Wakanda for her no kind of movie, right?
Oh, with Rihanna.
Exactly, right? And then that song got Grammy nominated, right? So he came as a collaboration and just he played like a part. I think he played like basic guitar, right? On the string, right? But he's on that track, right? And that song got Grammy nominated. Now through a collaboration, someone who just started music a couple years ago, and he's been amazing in it. Right now, he's a Grammy nominated musician. You can't take it from forever, you know. Whether they win or they don't win, you know, that's crazy. And that's off a collaboration. So I think there's a lot of power in that too, you know, and that main aspect. But then also differences too, you know, because like with music, some collaborations, you know, are for like money, you know, some of them are for clout, you know, to kind of get popularity. Which I kind of think that even in science too, there are some people that I guess we're not on the level. One of the some people where they really want to like collab with like a seasoned professor, somebody who has like 30 or 400 publications, so that their name can be good if you're kind of going that academic route, you know. But at the same time, I don't think it's like more like, a lot of time, I know some people collaborations for fun, like the music we do for fun too. But
There's probably collaborations that are just more like, I wouldn't say peacekeeping, but just more like relationship building collaborations versus like, oh, there's some purpose to this collaboration that we're trying to do. It's more like hey, let's collaborate to almost like some PR collaboration.
yeah, kind of like my lab can collaborate with your lab, and then like both of us can get on TV that we both kind of did this thing, like kind of collaboration.
Or like collaborations that establish connections with some institution.
Exactly, like another whole institution. And the only reason why now you have access to that is like through that collaboration, which is kind of similar. So I'm not gonna kind of name institutions kind of do that, but like example of that, I was working with one institution on one project. We're supposed to collab on like one project, right? But then in that project, I got to meet like 3-4 people on that team, right? And then, but because I have access to that institution, I get access to using their labs, using like their like the main things, right? So I went to their labs and I'm like, hey, I would like learn different things. I'll learn like maybe fast, right? Now I built like network connections, right? And then I added like some skills that I ended up using on my own research, right? Just because of one collaboration. It just kind of like it trickled down to a lot of things. But do you think people do that? Do you think like people and how is it taken? What's the difference between someone who kind of like collabs with someone and it's like a hyena type thing, right? Like collaborating with you and they're trying to just take as much as they can, rather than someone collaborating with you and you guys are like kind of building more stuff or like trickling down in a way.
Can I speak a little bit to that last question real quick as far as the music and clearly I'm not an artist like y'all, right? I watch, you know what I'm saying? Well, sorry, I'm not a artist scientist like you know what I'm saying? But I think one thing I've seen that should be a commonality between both is iron out the business of the endeavor before you kind of start pursuing the collaboration, right? Because in academia, you know, if you guys have seen academic papers, you know, you've got a whole lot of authors, and the order of those authors is actually really important. Seems fickle. More times than not, it feels fickle, but yeah, the order of that partnership, of that authorship is really important. Usually the first couple of authors did a majority of the work, right? And then the last author is usually the person's advisor of the first author, or so on and so forth. And so, for instance, that's something you want to work out right before you start a collaboration, or at least in the early phases, right? You know, what's going to be the authorship of the publication. You know what I'm saying? And you want to have that in mind, and then things kind of start working themselves out. Like as the collaboration goes forward, certain experiments require more work, right? So that means that person maybe has to do more work. So maybe they should be higher in the authorship and all that type of stuff. Because you were talking about patents, you know what I'm saying? And then the academic currency is publications, right?
As far as patents go, man. As far as patents go, I'm actually in a class right now where we do talk a lot about patents. As far as like filing the patent, like say like you with a completely other institution, say you file a patent for something, like pretty much the tech transfer?
Oh,
I think so.
Yeah, there's an office at every institution
that transfers the research into that.
Or at least like research one institution that pretty much owns or like pretty much handles all the patent filing and stuff like that. Honestly, one thing about grad school is if you are using like institution equipment, like your university has the right to anything you like. That's like
Wow.
I was asking her questions like it's really funny because some institutions can be also interested in the thing you're patenting, right? Mm-hmm. So I remember asking a person this question, like I guess for the school, I was like, so back to the point where like your college could also have some sort of interest in your patent, like, and kind of like claim a university kind of claim right to those patents. Like, it was pretty much somebody asked her like, oh, like, say if I file this patent right and the university is interested, right? Can the university kind of also, because they own the rights, just pretty much take that idea and kind of like build this company with you, right? And the lady, she answered it incredibly. She's like, why would I want to do that? It takes a long time. We don't have the resources. It's just me. Like, why would I want to do that? And then I remember like listening. I was like, yo, you didn't answer the question. so she came back. I was like, yo, I got a question. Yo, so when you answer this question, you weren't really direct. And somebody in the class was like, yeah, she wasn't direct, right? I was like, yeah, she wasn't direct. Like, so if
what are you hiding?
So this is contingent on if the university had the resources to do it, they could take your research and pretty much start a company on. But it's mostly unlikely because of the other kind of factors like the other patents they have to file. Like people are always doing research, other things they have to handle, kind of as like pretty much like as a university.
But I feel like which is wild that's even the case because it's your work, it's like your research, right? Yeah. But I feel like that like only applies like if you like patent it, right? And even with that, it's kind of wild. And I have like a crazy example of that, right? So I think like 2016, I finished from Temple, and then we did like a senior design project, right? Which is a project that you do like with the school. The school gives you money and try to figure out how to make a device, right? Type thing, right? So this project was for like a nitinol like prosthetic hand, and we designed the project. Temple University. I had my team. We have four people. As an example of like collaboration. You see, topic. But this was crazy part was that it was like the school like push you guys into you pick which people, right? So I'm a bio engineer. I have like a bioscientist, there's like a bio analytical engineer, like she's working with the bioscience part, and there's someone who's like a mechanical engineer, and this was someone who drew the design, was like an artist, literally an artist, just drew it, and he went to like a metal school and then to like make it like metal. I was like, we can actually build it, right? Long story short, had this device, do it, submit it for our senior design project 2016, right? 2017, right, fall, there's a publication from Penn State, right, for a nitinol actuated hand, right, they're doing for like a project, and this some person goes, because we didn't publish a paper on it, right, we just did like a senior design project, right, they're publishing an article, they probably like a brief article on it, like, inspired by work, and that's literally inspired by work, and they just kept going, and literally the whole idea, right, it then gets like accepted in like the 2016 Disability Summit. the next year, right? The next spring. So they're calling people from Penn State and from Temple, where they got out before, right? To come, like, to talk about the project. So I get an email like, hey, this is a great project that's going on. Would you want to come and talk about it at this conference? I'm just like, okay, right? Because you guys have no idea what you're talking about, right? Right? You all still idea, right? Because it looks cool, all like posters, right? They don't have no content, like it didn't work. So like now they want to talk about it. I'm like, no.
A research group at Penn State published it?
Literally, bro. A year later, they published it.
Is there anything against that? Like,
it's like. That's the crazy part. Like, unless like I feel like you publish something, I feel like the work that's like the biggest safety net, because there are some rules, but people are always kind of like binding and bending the rules around it. If it's not like a senior design project, right? As you said, there's all the school say we gave you guys the materials for it, because even like right now the project is still on Temple's website, right? It's probably on Temple's website right now. I was like, they're like idea, but then we didn't publish a journal article on it, right? If someone put a journal article on it first, like it's seen as like their idea, right? So it's like we have to take this extra safety net, which is now like a PhD where like we're being advised a lot of times to publish to get our works out, which because of stuff like this, because I want to have stuff in like like our peer reviewed like articles, like smaller articles, like with like blogs, like science blogs, like TikTok, like Twitter. Those are amazing ways to actually bring like science communication out, right? But if we don't have these articles published, right, we stand the risk of stuff like that happening, right? Like publishing going to work and someone like take an idea, and then go crazy with it.
Yeah, because I remember Dr. Waddell, as far as like the guy, asked pretty much like saying that I think he went to like he went to undergrad, he was like pretty much like, so you gotta be careful about it, because sometimes the school to come back and like also sue you for like your research, which is like hopefully none of that happens anywhere, but like it's like you could say it's fair, right? Where it's like, all right, we're using a bunch of university resources. Plus, and the office is handling, and because also like filing patents is very expensive. The office is handling all this stuff that like you don't want to do. So I was like, kind of like the whole like collaborate, outsource it thing. So it's like cool, but it's just like at the same time, right? At the same time, it's just like you can't help but this feeling of kind of like powerlessness sometimes. But I mean, that's just like, again, I don't know. Incredible amount of IP to even like go in depth about it on this podcast, but I thought that was just kind of funny since we were talking about collaborations. But like if you collaborate with another lab, you guys are filing for a patent, pretty much like both tech transfer offices will communicate on you guys' behalf. So, but I mean, you guys are still both using university resources,
which is also great. Your university has a patent office, like you don't have to file outside, like, and then your university has a scientific writer, at least D1 or D2 universities have a scientific writer that's paid by the university to help you like write your stuff, to help you send your articles to publication. So when you have your article published, they have somebody whose their job is to cut it down, to send to like newspapers, to magazines, science publications, to get your work out. So it's like you doing the work, like it's somebody whose job is that. But if you don't bring your articles to them, or they have to, because if they have to sift through articles, think of how many articles are published by every department every semester. That's a lot for them to sift through. The chance of them getting to yours and yours being the one that they publish, are very slim. If you bring it to them and like, hey, this is the article that I published, there's plenty of views, I think that they are more than likely they're employed by the university to do that. It's an actual job, right? So that's something that I feel like we should know when it comes to like articles and like patents and what you were talking about.
Right. Also, important to note, we're talking about two kind of different concepts, like research, because you were talking about papers, we're talking about patents. Like if you have a research paper about something you're patenting, it's not going to work out. It's probably going to get denied. So those are two different things, like an invention and research are completely different things. So it's like pretty much like, I think it's called prior work or something like that, where it's like, say if like, again, if you have an idea and if you have an idea and you plan on taking it to market, it's probably not your best interest to like publish anything about it, like just to be safe
until you have the patent.
Yeah, until you kind of like file for the patent, because I think it's called like prior work, or it's like public knowledge at this point. It's like, okay, well, we could read a paper about the device when. So it's like people have no interest there because it's just like I guess not novel or something like that. But that was really interesting. It was really interesting stuff about kind of intellectual property. But I think the way intellectual property is presented to you, just like dang, like whatever I bet, like I have not a lot of power in it, but also I didn't pay for this equipment. I'm technically an employee of the university, so it's just what you feel powerless, but it's like, man.
But sometimes we need to find avenues. We feel powerless, and we can also find avenues
for being okay with, okay with it.
Yeah,
I'm not fine with it. I'm okay with it.
But also using that power that we're looking at too, because I come to my professor, that was a good thing. But if I can present an idea that I think is good enough, and like he accepts it, I'll be like, okay, well, great. These are the things I want to buy for this idea. And I'm just like, we're going to order this. I only have to justify it if it's over a particular amount. If it's not over that amount, I'm just like, we need this, you know? And do you know how amazing that is? Just think of an idea. I'm like, and I read something, and I'm like, okay, this is something I could do. And you're like, I don't have any money to do this. But my school does. So I just go to them, I'm like, hey, what about this idea? And I'm just literally ordering things. Like, I've been something that's exactly within line itself, but I can do side experiments too, along with that. As long as you can kind of explain the kind of this, I think so that's like extra power, you know, along with collaboration and like music. You know, there's so many more avenues to it. There's so many more ways to do it, and that kind of ties into the next question I was going to ask. That how does creativity come into play when you're talking about collaboration in science or in music or in arts in general? Yeah.
It's a hell of a question. How does creativity come into play with collaboration? I think if we can have an operative definition of creativity of solving tasks in a way that might require some unconventional thinking, then we can say that if you can find a person who has a particular skill set and then find a way to employ that particular skill set to help you find or investigate a certain aspect of your research in a way that's unconventional, I think that right there is influence a certain use of creativity. Yeah, so let's start there.
I agree a lot. And I think that then ties into how you use that creativity. I think we find somebody who has that skill set is like an amazing start. And then the idea is, I think one thing is like being open-minded, and like that involves the part to it, because it's like that then sparks a lot of things. And another example of that is like with the times like you have an idea and you guys are supposed to fix on a particular idea, but if someone thinks it might not work, or like there's not, okay, what other ways could it work? Like, oh, I read in this paper and this thing somewhere that, or I watched this video. Oh, really? How do we employ that into this thing? Like some people that they're like, oh no, we already had this plan. Let's do this plan first. It doesn't work. But I feel like the creativity comes in being open-minded, also being able to like explore other options. Okay, what are these other people say? What other people say? I think people are able to get a little bit out of the conventional shell of how they like do things. Once you do find somebody with an amazing skill set, being open-minded and being like not just fixed on one thing allows that better flow of creativity in collaborating.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Let's go. Bless you.
Oh, my bad.
Bless you.
I think as far as creativity goes, like people are just so creative in like different ways that sometimes it just like blows your mind. Like I think so many times you and somebody else will just be looking at something and just see it so differently, and that always kind of like fascinates me. So it's just like I think that's how kind of collaborations go, where it's like some people might see something incredibly different on like one project, but figure out a way to kind of marry those together. So I think a lot of like, I think it's always good to like find someone who kind of like thinks different than you on like mostly creative projects.
Okay. Finding someone who thinks different than you. I like that. I like that. But what if it's not the good way, but what if it's like the bad way? Like, what if you have to collaborate with somebody, you know, who is difficult, or you know, who you do not want to collaborate with, you know? And sometimes in science,
all right, whose style is just like totally, completely
off from what yours, or
I mean, I feel like then why are you collaborating?
because okay, once again, like sometimes like you're in a lab, right, and then they're like, hey, I want to you to work on this project, and it's assigned by a professor, right? But then in those kind of scenarios, like you don't get to choose who you're assigned. You have to work with this person, and you don't like this person, right? Or you're not working with them, or like, hey, like on a song, and like you have your favorite person pitching a song, hey, let's go to the song in the studio, and you're in the studio, and the producer on the song, you know, you don't like them, or like y'all don't like mesh together, right? But you really like the artist, and you guys are supposed to be there to work together. So there's some scenarios where you can't get out of it. Of course, if you choose to, one of us would choose to do what we like, what's convenient. But in scenarios like that, what happens? What do you do?
I think you absolutely just need a third party. You absolutely just need a third party to be like, kind of look at the problem and be like, all right, yo, you do this and you do this, like, straight up. Because again, I feel like if the two opposing parties, if it's up to the two opposing parties, I feel like there's just gonna be a lot of friction until there is some. So I think that third party, who especially the actual people who put you together, typically they should have the skill set to be able to see people's strengths. Like pretty much the project managers are supposed to be able to kind of diffuse that. That's my personal opinion.
But as a PhD student, you are the project manager.
You're a project manager, but you still have someone you answer to. As a PhD student.
Okay, but say you got an advisor like yours or an advisor like mine who's gonna sit there and go, yo,
I'll figure it out.
Exactly. Because think about the PhD student, you have whole classes you teach. You're teaching undergraduate classes. Like you have people that work under you, like give you instruction. So you're basically a project manager and a scientist, and you basically run your own lab mini under your advisor. So you're in a position where like you give to the higher. You are basically one of the higher ups. So I think it was kind of I do definitely see your point of like trying to find like a good compromise, right? Which I think would be like the middle party, or do you guys like agreeing to find a compromise to that? Because sometimes like at the end of the day, like the work has to be done. So it's like, it's always kind of negative when people are like, oh, like this person is not working well, I'll just body all the work and just do this part because I rather would do it by myself than let this person do it. And it's like now you're double stressed now because it's a work that's supposed to be assigned to two people. So your advisor is not you know out of his mind. He knows the amount of work that's supposed to be hopefully right allocated to each person. So now if you're doubling that work because you don't like this person you're collaborating with, like that's like a heavy load on you, right? If you don't like this other person that you're singing with, and I think sometimes like if those kind of difficult situations, right, we have to like move towards compromise, and compromise can't be done. We need to find a way to. Can you end some of those kind of collaborations? Would it be? How does it feel to like not work on a project or not work on a song because you know you can't work with that person? Is that an option?
Okay, now I see what you're talking about. Because like, if it was because if it's like, I feel like I'm a pretty reasonable guy. If it's like I can see, if I understand it's for the good of the project, then you know I could do it. But if it's like, if stuff like, honestly, the second I start taking it personal, man, I say I consider myself a pretty emotionally intelligent dude, but as soon as I start taking it personal and like, it's just like this person, it's not even about, oh, it's not the best solution. This person just not respect my expertise or opinion on this project. Like it's like a personal thing, and it's like for me, I cannot work. Like I know it's like, oh, I gotta blow up the whole thing, but it's like I cannot work with this person because it's just like this person does not respect. Like it's not even like that idea. If it's like, I feel like if it's like they don't respect that idea, they should be able to explain it to me.
Right, and then tell me why you don't respect
but
that.
Then tell me why you don't respect, so I can kind of see it. Like I said, I'm a reasonable dude, but it's like I feel like in a scenario where it's like, all right, now I can see that it's just like, all right, this is just some personal stuff.
Yeah, like it has nothing to do with the project. Like,
for the sake of everyone, I'll go to my advisor. Please replace me on this project because if I stay on this project, no one's gonna be happy. Now I don't know if it's because I'm West African or like what, but I got. It's not even like an ego thing. It's like I think for me, I just don't want disrespect. I just don't want disrespect. So,
And I get that. I honestly do
something
feel
up just because I feel this, and I feel like my threshold for disrespect is
It's
just
like
so high.
to level.
I feel like I'm such a person who's like, okay, I'm such like again, I think scientifically, so I'm just like, okay, so here's like 5 data points, right? It's all leading to the same thing. Okay, cool. Now I have permission to act accordingly. So it's just like,
now I shall move this way.
yeah. So it's like, and I might say something about it before, but it's like if it's just like all right, well, I don't think this is the best way to kind of do it, and I could, because like if I'm thinking the best way to do something, I have some data and like
some reasoning behind it,
some
right?
reasoning behind it, right? So, I mean, some people are just kind of like, again, if it's like I'll conclude like this: if it's like something where it's like ideology or like kind of like this scientific debate about the best way to move forward, I do believe that if the collaboration was set up in the first place and is within the scope of the collaboration, I feel like 9 times 10 there should be some sort of compromise to be found.
Exactly.
The second it gets personal,
Then it's
just like it's not scientific anymore. So, then some changes gotta be made.
So I think that there are some collaborations. So in the vein of that, there's some collaborations that are not worth it, basically. Because it reaches a point where like you have to, as I said, like if it's past where I'm explaining the ideas, because all like I'm explaining the concept to you and I have stuff to back it up, and we've tried to find a compromise, and then you're making this personal, then it's like, okay, like to the left.
Which does happen, man.
It does happen. It's sad, but like you have to like, as you have to charge it. Charge it to the game. You're sad.
I mean, to be fair, we did jump to an extremity. We went from a tough collaborator to someone who just doesn't want to do anything.
Right, I mean,
with you.
because sometimes you do have
somebody who hates your guts.
In this theoretical situation.
Yeah, we did see both sides of the spectrum.
It's real life, baby.
Okay,
We went
so
to the left, then we went to the right.
if we want to go real life,
in the middle,
that's fair. But then when that's the case, there's always usually more than 2 people in the collab, right?
Yeah.
It's usually always 5, 6 people. I found that if there's some disagreement with how to move forward in a project, what usually helps is if you scale back the magnitude of the theoretical jump you're trying to make. So, for instance, say you guys are in some project and you go, we want to investigate this phenomenon, so I think we should do this. Another person goes, well, I wholeheartedly disagree, right? In your mind, take that concept and that hypothesis you're trying to prove, and then just walk it back a few steps to something a little bit more immediate that you can get to. More time, a little more simple. More times than not, the person who was outright disagreeing with you is going to be more amenable to that, because maybe they thought that you were being a little bit more enthusiastic about the hypotheticals you were assuming. You know what I'm saying? So if you just walk it back a little bit, usually that tends to work itself out. But again, in the times that you get yourself in a situation where, like you said, someone's just being deplorable. So yeah, man, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to get up out of that. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause you guys, I think we talked about this first episode, second episode. When you start grad school, try to be, you don't have to be clear as far as what exactly you want your grad school experience to be, but you want to be clear-eyed about what experimental methods and what experience you want to get, right? And there's a multitude of ways to get that. So if it's a collab that you're trying to do is not working out, but it's got a method you really want to work on, chances are there's another way to get that experience.
Exactly. You can find another way around it.
I'm trying to. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I guess the point you say is like, people might just like oppose something because they don't like understand. Maybe like that, or like maybe it was just too It was just like they couldn't see the steps, so you gotta just.
They couldn't get the vision.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Sometimes I think as scientists, engineers, we get a little enthusiastic about things we can figure out and things we can do.
Yeah.
And so in our mind, to us, like you said, it's very clear that this is the next step.
Yeah. Like,
But to other folks, yo, man,
You have to explain.
slow down. Like walk that back a little bit. And even with the slowdown, you just said slow down, right? We just said even with the slow down and walk us through it, they might not even agree with that mode of reasoning, right? So, but maybe it's worth empirically proving that mode of reasoning, right? Because maybe you might get a little spin-off idea. Oh, you know what? I took that for granted. Turns out I was kind of wrong about it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
And then it could also help like solidify your idea. Like imagine something like you brought up to a group of like five of you, right? One whole person opposes it. You know, the other three people are like, kind of manifest about it, right? And then you scale it back a little bit, something more simple. Okay, this is what the actual idea really is. And the other person is still like, kind of oppose it, but then the other two people are like, oh, that makes more sense now. And then the other three people are supporting you. And then you kind of scale it back, and then if they're still again like, well, it's like I tried, I brought it back for you. More people are with it. I've simplified it. I've done my due diligence. And if it's not on it, like, easy at that point, is it like, okay, you go with the project or something else? But I've proved it up.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And I think it gets back to, that's why when we started the episode, I think the most important thing for collaboration, artistic or scientific or otherwise, you gotta have humility. Right. So I gotta have the humility for, if you check me on my idea, I gotta have the humility to go, okay, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I missed something. Let me go back through my steps to make sure. At the same time, they gotta have the humility as well to, if I check something on their end, they're willing to do the same thing and not take it personal. You would hope so, because we're all adults, but unfortunately, I don't really mean too much.
It's interesting. You like, if somebody thinks something you're doing wrong, you go back and check. Isn't the burden of proof on the person who paid you?
I mean, this ain't the court though, bro. Right? This ain't law. You know what I'm saying?
So
like,
wait, how do you know it's wrong?
What's up?
So sorry, I'm trying to understand what you're saying.
No. I mean, I feel what you're saying though. I just think there's a lot of cognitive leaps. Being scientists and engineers and just being introspective people in general, we sit with ourselves a lot, right? So our thought process starts morphing itself into intuition. To me, that's my personal theory, right? You can be rational, you know, like, oh, let me do this, that, and the third. I think sometimes though it does happen where you go, oh yeah, that makes sense, when really it was your intuition, not necessarily a rational. You know what I'm saying? So, is the burden of proof on them? Sure, right? If you want to frame it that way. However, it could also be a moment for a more deliberate mode of introspection. This is.
And I think introspection in any way is not bad too. Like it can either like prove left side or right side. Like you can introspect and then be like, you know what? Actually, you know, maybe I didn't eat today. That's probably why I was angry. Like he's actually right. I did snack a little bit. Or you could be like, nah, thinking back to it, I was right. You know, like it makes sense.
That part.
Like, and you can come back the next day like, actually, no, you're wrong.
No, for real.
I have reasons why I thought about it. You're still wrong.
That's that part too, though. It's also that, right? Because they can call you out and you go, hold on, let me double check. You think I'm like, nah, I'm straight. Yeah, you good. I'm good. So
I'm gonna look into it.
Yeah, that part. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
it's funny. I think kind of like to that. I think there was a day where it was random. It was so small, but I was laughing. I called Mike, right? And I was just talking. I was just like, yo, bro, like. I was just something like, yo, like, you didn't even reply my text. And he's like, nah, bro, like, I texted you last. I was like, nah, man, like, you didn't reply my text. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I was like, I called you now. Like, he's like, oh, okay, bro, my bad. Sorry, right, bro. And then, like, I look at my phone, and then I was one that didn't reply the text. And I'm looking at it, I was just like, and then I'm like, actually, my bad, bro. Like, you know, sometimes it didn't be like that. I was like, wait, actually, no.
That's so interesting because I'm kind of like the same way too. Where it's like, you ever like, what you ever about? No, yeah,
this fool.
Yeah, you ever like, it's like you ever had someone say something you did where like you can't remember doing it.
Yeah, like
right, and you just kind of like, yo, I'm not saying you wrong, but it's like
that don't sound like me.
Yeah, that don't sound like me, but I'm not saying you're wrong. Like I try not to like sort of like gaslight the person, but it's like, yo, I need to like understand this for myself because like it's like I guess I'm not like I'm pretty much like a person who's always gonna be kind of like skeptical. Cause it's like I'm not saying like because my memory is also bad, so it's not like I'm not saying you are wrong that I did that. But I need like kind of like
you need proof.
Right? So some people just seriously just cannot provide proof. Like I was like, can you give me an example, right? And some people seriously cannot provide an example. But that's just because like, especially if it's something they're emotional about, they just can't think of it in a moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, with that, what I said about someone walking you back and checking you.
Yeah.
If they reasoning is shaky, blow by that. If they reasoning, no, exactly.
Yeah.
You're right. Be humble to be open to criticism.
Yeah.
But if they kind of critique is shaky, you're like, man.
I was like, it's funny, I agree to people, right? And
Is
then,
that what you're getting at? Type?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah, this does not make any sense.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's like, again, sometimes it be something else besides like what you actually did. I don't know. You just investigate a little bit.
Yeah, investigate it, bro.
Like, but we talking about like science. We talking about science here.
Right.
The thing I'm talking about might involve emotions too, which aren't always logical. So I mean, but that's a whole nother conversation. That
I mean, I get in science too, though, right? You got people who want clout in science, or someone want to impress the advisor in your team meeting, and they want to call you out for something crazy.
Exactly.
Or like try to like, just like there's some people who just want to be in the room to try to be smart, like who just want to be smart in the room versus like it's not even actually okay. You're right. Like it's not actually about like the like them critiquing the thing. It's them appearing to be smart or like being involved in the project in a way that is pretty much unnecessary. The way they're doing about. So it's like,
if you're in a PhD program, don't worry about coming out smart. You're in the PhD program. Be disciplined. Do your work. We know you got it.
Do you understand? Bro. The first thing you said, you're in the PhD program. That's it. Like, I don't think for you to just get in, you can be dumb. Like, the fact that, and the crazy part, if you tell anybody, I don't see anybody who's like a PhD or like something that's more smart than anybody. I feel like intelligence kind of goes with how much you learn, and anybody can acquire knowledge different ways. But most people, once you just say a PhD, like, you're already smart. Like, you already kind of have some kind of clout. So it's like, when you're in rooms, ask things, for knowledge or like for like a reason behind it. We just like ask questions just to kind of make noise or like sound like inspired. Like it's kind of like it's a little slow.
Yo, I've not been in those kind of rooms before. Like I
have.
I don't know. You have? Yeah. It's like I feel like you guys been to conferences and stuff. Like I feel like so far my PhD journey, I've just been kind of to myself where it's like I always say I just started getting on campus. I said that last episode. It's like when I started getting on campus, I just heard, a lot of stuff that not necessarily the institution, but just a lot of stuff that goes on in the science world, just different stories. Definitely no one at our school is up in any drama.
Exactly.
So,
no, our school is great. And the great thing about our school is that we have like committees around like.
But there's drama.
Your PhD. There's some drama somewhere.
There's some drama somewhere.
We live in the world.
Hopefully it's not
drama,
you.
Like,
definitely not my school.
I don't know where that. I ain't over here.
Oh boy.
But I think that was a great thing too. I'm so glad that randomly, I don't know that we have like committee members, so there are like 4 of them, right? 3 of them. So it's like, hey, let's talk about all these guys. Or like when I have issue with one of my committee members, look at the other one. Hey, this other guy, he's not replying my email. Can you talk to him? And it happens. It's great that whole kind of ring around that. I don't know definitely why I tie that into that, but I'm glad that we have collaborations with our committee members and collaborations with ourselves in general.
All in all, though, collaborations are vital. You're going to be way more productive with them. You're going to grow as a scientist, engineer, professional, person in general, artist.
Creative.
You know what I'm saying? So definitely look for collabs. Absolutely.
Right, and then lastly, speaking about collabs, which is Shameless plug. We don't really care. This guy and I have a song called Sunset Boulevard, right? And it's an amazing collaboration with Newman, who's one of the best rappers
Video
alive.
and Ife wins. Video comes out this Friday.
Woo! You know, so it's wild. So I'm about to tell you guys this video. You know, it's gonna be out. You know, we're gonna be outside. You know, so y'all go stream it everywhere that you can listen to music. And you're gonna watch this video on YouTube and also on everywhere you can watch music videos. Be outside. You know, once again, we're at NESA. You know, we love y'all, and we're gonna see you guys next week.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.